That's the riff that you're about to learn in this lesson today. It's got that melodic black metal feel to it, and there's a lot of tremolo picking. Actually, the entire riff there is based on tremolo picking. So that's the culprit of this lesson here. We're gonna jump right in, guys, but real quick, if you're a Patreon supporter, you have the backing tracks and tabs to this lesson, so make sure you download those. Also, you see I'm holding my 7-string guitar here. Even though this lesson can be played on a 6-string guitar, I don't use the B string, I do have a 7-string version. I'll play that for you at the end. Pretty much the same thing, but I'll explain that at the end of the video. And of course, we'll have our usual guitar chat at the end as well, so hang around for that. Let's start by me playing this riff out in the open without the bass and drums so that you can get a better idea of how it should sound like when you play it. Now what's cool is we just replicate that on some lower notes on the next string up there, and we'll cover that in the lesson here, but I want to go over just a few preliminary things. I know a lot of you are going to ask, Jason, what pick are you using? So real quick, this is the Dunlop Max Grip pick. It is a .88. Now I know that might be thinner than a lot of you guys like to use for this style of metal or just in general, and I just want you to know that that's okay. Just because I'm using a .88 or this specific pick doesn't mean it's the right one for you, okay? So just remember that. Always choose what feels most natural and most comfortable for you. That may vary from person to person. Now this style is really just alternate picking. We call it tremolo picking, but we're just picking back and forth. So it's just a form of alternate picking. Hopefully that helps simplify things. Now, as far as tremolo picking goes, if this is new to you or if it's something that you may struggle with a little bit, I have got a complete beginner's video on tremolo picking for this style of metal here. So do go check that out first if you're just starting out, and then come back and watch this lesson. Lastly, we're going to integrate some other techniques in here. We're also going to be string skipping at one point, and we're also doing a finger roll as well in the beginning. So I want to kind of combine multiple techniques into this lesson. So on that note, no pun intended, well, the pun's always intended, let's get started. Let's go over the notes that we're going to be playing for this riff here. I'm going to do this without the alternate picking. Now, the first technique we're going to implement here is that finger roll that I talked about, and that can be a little challenging, but just do this. Again, we're doing this first without the alternate picking, without the tremolo picking here. So just play that 4th fret of the A string and then roll your finger across, okay, over to that next string, the D string. Hopefully this makes sense though, the finger roll. Again, you are rolling your finger. You're not just going from one fret to the next string, right? You're gonna allow that finger to roll, just like that. It's just gonna roll down. So again, it's not gonna be like this. Hey, that could be a country song. You're gonna let the finger roll, okay? It will make more sense in a second here when we integrate that tremolo picking, okay? So let's go through the notes one more time and just watch my fingers, guys. If you can listen to what I'm doing, I'm in standard tuning, by the way. If you could just listen to what I'm doing without looking at tabs or looking at anything, just listen and hear that and then replicate that accordingly, okay? I'm gonna go through this one more time slow, then we'll get to the alternate picking. Now you start to hear the pattern, okay, where we're using some notes repetitively in that. So just kind of lodge that in your head. If you need to pause the video now, or maybe go back to that part, listen to what I just played and pause it, and just go over that a few times. That will make the rest of this lesson easier, so I do encourage you to do that. Alright, let's move on with the alternate picking. So starting out with that finger roll, 4th fret A string, rolling over to the 4th fret D string, but we're going to be alternate picking. We're doing that tremolo picking here, okay? So you're going to go from that 4th fret A string to that 4th fret D string almost immediately as you start tremolo picking there. So what I would suggest doing is just practice this. I'm going to go over this a few times, okay? Practice that over and over, okay? And what I suggest doing, instead of trying to count, well, how many times do I pick before going to the next one? For me, if I get hung up on that, I will just screw it up all day, every day, and I will never get it. That's just how I do things, how I learn. I know some of you are like that, whereas others, you may need to count it out first, whatever works for you. But my biggest recommendation is just to practice that over and over until you get to a point where you feel like you've got it, okay? So let's go through that one more time, then we'll go through the rest of the notes. Next, after the 4th fret A string, 4th fret D string, we're going to follow that pattern through by going up to the 6th and the 7th fret of the D string, okay? And then back down. Now we're going to change strings again. We're going to go over to the G string playing the 6th fret, okay? Now here's where it might get a little tricky, kind of like the finger roll. We're throwing in some other techniques here. We're actually going to go from the G string, okay, that 6th fret of the G string. We're going to do the string skipping technique to go back to where we started on the A string 4th fret. So listen to this. Now we're going to start on the next fret up of the A string, the 5th fret, okay? Then the notes on the D string are going to be the same as what we played earlier, okay? A string, 5th fret, and then we go over again to the D string, 4, 6, and 7, then back. We're going to repeat that again, but the last note, the note we're going to land on, is going to be that 3rd fret of the D string, and that's what gives it that wicked little vibe there. So listen to this. All right, let's go through that one more time, guys. Now, earlier I mentioned the 7th string here, so let's hear what that sounds like on the 7th string. It is time for our guitar chat, guys, but real quick, if you do not have my free practice guide, Metal Riffs and Licks, there's a link for that in the description of this video. That will help you develop just a simple practice routine and give you some new ideas. If you have that, I know many of you already have that, but you don't have my guitar courses, well, I've got Metal Riff Master. That has helped a lot of you watching right now, and thank you for the support on that. Now, if you are a beginner at metal guitar, or if you stepped away, if you laid the guitar down years ago, like I know I've heard this story many times, and you're just now picking it back up but need to revisit the fundamentals, I've got another course called Metal Guitar Apprentice that will help you get back on track. All those links are in the description of this video, and thank you so much for your support. Now, I know many of you are probably asking, dude, why do you still have this 7-string guitar? By the way, this is the E2, the ESP E2 Horizon FR7. It is a beast, and it plays so well. But as most of you know, I've had kind of a back and forth relationship with the 7-string guitar over the past few years. I think I've had this for about 4 or 5 years now. You guys know I recorded my Masterpiece album with it, the shirt I'm wearing right now. Shameless plug there. That's on iTunes, Spotify, all those good places, by the way. But I recorded that album. That was my first 7-string album. This is actually my 4th album, but this is my first album recording with a 7-string. And I like the way it turned out and all, but I just never felt that I fully connected to the 7-string guitar for whatever reason. And after that, after recording that album, I just went through so many phases where I would just put the guitar away. I'm like, okay, well, let me just put it away for a month or 2 months or whatever. Then I would break it back out and kind of like fall in love with it again. I'm like, oh, this is a great guitar. And then that would wear off sometimes 3 or 4 days, and I'd put it back up. Well, I pulled this out about 2 weeks ago, and I have been pretty much playing it non-stop. And I actually had this on the market. I've had it on Sweetwater's Gear Exchange, had it up there for quite some time. I also had it on Facebook Marketplace. I just wasn't willing to give it away. I mean, it's not a cheap guitar. I mean, I bought this for like 2,100 bucks. And again, that's 4 or 5 years ago. We're in February of 2023. I think the going price for this, the black, I think it's like $25.99 on Sweetwater, so it's 2,600 bucks. I think I had it at 1,700 and I dropped it to, I believe, 1,500, and still no bites. I mean, people want to trade, and I wasn't interested in trading. But in any case, no bites. So I'm like, you know, I'm just going to take it down. I'm not willing to give it away. And I think that there might be a reason. I think there's something higher than me saying, hey man, hang on to this. Don't part ways with this guitar. So I'm gonna listen to that little voice there, and I'm just gonna hang on to it at least for a little while longer. And maybe I'll make some more 7-string videos. If you guys would like some more 7-string lessons, hey, please let me know. The last thing I want to do is make a video, put all the effort into videos that nobody really watches. So I know some of you have reached out to me about 7-strings, but if there's enough interest in me making some more 7-string videos, hey, drop me a comment and let me know there's interest out there before I start making videos. I do have a playlist on 7-string, by the way, if you guys want to go through some of those videos. But yeah, drop me a comment. If you guys want more 7-string videos, I'm happy to make them. By the way, please make sure you give this video a thumbs up if it helped you. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, guys. I really do appreciate your support in my courses and this channel and buying my music, my merch, all that good stuff. So hey, this is how I make it these days. So thank you so much, guys. Until the next video, you know what to do. Keep it metal.